and you can just unmute and tell us where you're from. All right, so let's start with Mary.
Hi there. I'm in the UK.
Welcome, Mary.
Thank
Catherine.
you.
Yeah, in southern England. It's nice and warm. I'm Mary.
Hi.
Fantastic. I'm surrounded by the UK people because Catherine's on my right and Mary's on my left. All right, Judith.
Hi, everyone. I'm in Cape Town.
Fantastic. Jacqueline. There we go. You're unmuted. Jacqueline, your audio is not working. I'm not sure if maybe your microphone preference isn't right. All right, while she's figuring that out, let's go to Caroline.
Hi, everyone. I'm based in Cape Town.
Fantastic. All right, Wilma.
Hi, everyone. I'm based in Jeffreys Bay in the Eastern Cape.
Oh, nice, Jeffreys Bay. All right, Manish.
Hi, I'm actually from England, but I'm actually in Dubai.
Oh, excellent, Dubai. Nice to see you, Manish. All right, we've got Samantha.
Hello.
Hi, so nice to see you. Samantha's also from Cape Town. Excellent.
Good to be here. Thanks, Chantal.
Excellent. Annelie.
Yeah, hi Chantal. Not too far from Cape Town, Somerset West.
Okay, excellent. And Marilee.
Hi everyone, Marilee from Cape Town.
Excellent. And my screen just keeps on changing as people are joining. Katrine, if you could unmute yourself and tell us where you're from.
From Germany. Münster.
Hi. Nice to see you, Katrine. Hi. We've also got Steve. Steve, if you can tell us where you're from.
Okay.
I'm just checking if Steve's getting his unmute. All right, and so see, I think there's Steve's connecting to his audio. All right, welcome, Brian. If you could, just after Steve's audio connects, if you can unmute yourself and tell us where you're from, and then we're going back to Jacqueline. All right, Steve, if you unmute yourself now, we should be able to hear you.
Hi, sorry, there's some feedback, some problems with my sound. Hi.
No problem, welcome. Where are you from?
Well, Kenyan, but I live in Germany.
Okay, fantastic. All right, Brian, you next, and then we're going back to Jacqueline.
Hi, Chantal. Thank you for running this. I live in Cape Town, South Africa, and strangely enough, I know someone else on the link there. I work with Judith in a company called Contract.
Excellent, stunning, stunning. Jacqueline, did you manage to get your sound working?
Hello, can you hear me now?
Yes, yes.
Okay, thanks. I'm Jacqueline Snowman. I'm from Pretoria, Gauteng.
Okay, excellent, excellent. Welcome. I'm so happy we have such a full house. This is the Johan. Oh, Johan hasn't introduced himself. I always leave him out, and he's actually just sitting 2 rooms away from me.
Hi, I'm Johan. I'm also from Cape Town in South Africa. It's a beautiful day out here today. So sunny South Africa.
All right, stunning. So I think this is our 3rd session. So we're going to start with really the basics, and this is a time for us to just jam together. I don't want this to be a super intellectual exercise. So I'm gonna share my screen with you and just start you off with a few ideas, and I'll share with you why I absolutely love sketchnoting and kind of the visual thinking side. My entire bookshelf here next to me is full of books, and I might actually show you some of the books if you're looking for some inspiration. They're also on Kindle. So during this time, I find that looking at pictures on Pinterest really calms me down. I'm super A-type personality, so meditation feels to me like someone's pulling out my toenails. So absolutely, the imagery is much more my kind of mindfulness and meditation. All right, so I'm going to share my screen with you. Let me just quickly see. Vilma, this is the third session. This is the third session. So we do a couple of things. We started off when we went into lockdown, and we had a workshop a day, partially to keep my team's minds busy and give them just a sense of purpose. And then by week 2, having a workshop a day, we were knackered, eh, Marley? We couldn't do it. We couldn't do it anymore. So we met amazing people, but we've kind of scaled it down now. So we have laughter yoga on a Wednesday. It's super fun. And if you've got kids or pets at home, they actually dig it big time. We have Bev every Wednesday, and Marley, what dog is that? That's one big ass dog, hey? But once we start with the laughter yoga, this huge dog is just like trying to get in there. We've got children on the laughter yoga. So we do that on a Wednesday, and then we do sketching on a Friday. We also have some journey mapping workshops in between. So next Tuesday, we're doing employee journey mapping for what the world's going to look like when we start relaxing the lockdown a little bit. And then we've got Stephen, who's just joined us. And Stephen, just quickly unmute yourself and tell the people where you're from and how we met.
G'day, mates. I'd be the Australian. Thankfully, I'm a night owl, so this whole thing is working really well for me. And part of the LEGO Serious Play community. So Chantel put together a session for us LSP types a couple of days ago, mentioned that there was the sketch thing on. I'm like, all right, I'll give that a go. I'll show up. Ask what time it is, though. It's the only thing
Tell us what time it is, Stephen.
It is just gone 10 o'clock in Australia on a Friday night. So thankfully lockdown's in effect, so nobody's going out. So I feel good about this.
Amazing. We'll have to have these frequent flyer badges, because we seem to just, once people have been to our workshops, they just come to the next ones. All right. So I'm going to share my screen with you, and I'm going to quickly talk you through a few things that I find particularly inspiring. Now, my screens look absolutely weird since Zoom updated. So you're just going to have to help me. Do you see a screen that says Sketchnote yourself smarter?
Yeah.
Oh, fantastic. All right, stunning. So I really honestly do believe that the Sketchnotes have made me smarter. And I'll share with you kind of in what way. So I really struggle, and I told you in some of the earlier sessions, just having focus in meetings and kind of containing my judgment around people in the meeting, not being distracted by, what they're wearing, what they're saying, how big of an ass I think they are. The Sketchnotes really help me suspend some of that judgment. I also think I'm a heck of a lot clearer about my own communication when I Sketchnote. And I think I listen so much better because I'm listening with, I think, a different angle. I'm listening really to understand the concepts rather than to necessarily get involved, sucked into the politics of what I'm hearing. And then as a thinking tool, it's really helped me think much better. So now when I'm planning a new workshop, when I'm doing strategy work for a client, when I'm doing our own strategy for brand love, I would literally either take my flip chart, or I've got these amazing, I'll show you so I've got these amazing wire-bound sketchbooks, and I'll literally just flip pages open. This was my trip to the US, where I drew which dates I'm going to be in which country and what I expect my outcome to be. So literally, I still love paper, and then I do a lot of sketches on the iPad, and I really find that even with instructional design and the design of workshops, I just get a lot better with getting to the crux of it and delivering a great outcome if I sketch it and if I visualize it. Then if I look at, you know, I'm busy designing a new course, and the name of the course is How Not to Be an Asshole on Email. And this is kind of, again, I did some rough sketches on paper, and then I went to my iPad, and I had this side of, you know, when I receive emails, what's a better way than immediately reacting? So I read, I think, I might ask some questions before I make just big assumptions, and then I respond. And then when I'm sending an email, I consider, you know, who am I sending it to? What is the action I want them to take? What is the brand I want to portray on email? And, you know, my 2 measurements for email is it needs to be clear and it needs to be kind and it needs to show my leadership. And then I kind of unpacked, you know, what I have, what I want inside of that email. So, you know, a clear call to action, some headings. It needs to be short. I need to check my spelling, and I need to have a nice storyline, some emotion, and some action in my email. So with this very simple cheat sheet, I actually can unpack so much more information. And if I take people through this, the likelihood that they're going to remember what I spoke about is a lot better. All right. So this is one of my very, very favorite people, and I'm actually going to try and convince her to come and chat to us one Friday. I had the fortune of discovering her on the web, and I started ordering her books. She's got these amazing, amazing books. She loves doing yoga sketch notes. So she draws yoga positions with these little people. So please go and Google Eva Lotta Lamb. She's got a nice Instagram feed as well. And then after I bought her books, I found that she's doing a workshop in South Africa. So I think it's about 1.5 years ago, Johan. I'm not sure exactly when, but we just ended up, my whole team went to Eva's workshop, and
last year March.
But last year March, and you know, Eva ended up staying you know, at our beach house, and I spent some time with her, and I was just so inspired. And she's just got like such an amazing heart. So these are some of her sketches. And what I want you to notice about this, she's only using 2 colors here. She's just using black and orange. So she loves to choose you know, one primary color and an accent color. I tend to like overdo my sketches, and if we go back to my previous one, just see, you'll see I kind of use fruit salad of colors there, where you can see that's a very specific style. So do go and follow Eva. Some of her books where she sketchnoted conferences, I find just looking at those sketch notes, I learn so much. And then I go and Google the articles, and I go and Google the videos of the actual conference. And I've just found that's a really cool way for me to learn. We've actually got some of Eva's original sketches that she did at the session that we attended, that we framed for our office. So I'm a big fan. All right. Then just like the holistic overview of, you know, when you sketchnote, I just want to make the point, it's not art, because I've got exceptionally deep art scars. I grew up in a very artistic house. My father is a super talented artist, a sculptor, and just he's done some amazing stuff in his life. So I think my yearning was always to learn. His demands were always like, no, this is a curse. You're not going to learn how to do this. And when I finished school, I said, I'm going to study art. And he said, if you want to be poor for the rest of your life, you can, but you're definitely not staying in my house for much longer. So I think just my confusion with sketchnoting when I got introduced to it is that I'm not artistic, but it's not about that. So I think it's about really taking concepts and making sure that you develop a visual language, just like you would with the alphabet. All right, so you've got From the left-hand side there, you've got your lettering. Then you've got all kinds of bullets. You've got frames that you can use. You've got connectors that you can use. You've got shadows that you put to give dimension to things. And then there's people. And I'll show you a couple of ways to draw people. And if you haven't got pen and paper yet, please grab some pen and paper, because we're going to be jamming and just doing some stuff a little bit later. All right, so I love the style of when people are at a conference and they draw the people who are actually presenting. And you can see there's quite a bit of detail in these people's faces. Now, what a lot of visual recorders or visual harvesters do when they go to a conference, or when they listen to a TED talk, they'll Google the author or the speaker, and they will take that imagery and they'll put quite a lot of detail around the person that they're listening to. So you can see the time that it took to draw these people is a lot more detail invested here than some of these. So it's really up to you what you want to do with these notes. I love looking at my ring-bound books of conferences, and especially the work I've done around course designs and our own strategy. As I go back in these sketches, I see concepts that I forgot I came up with, which is really awesome. At our age, it becomes really important to remember stuff. So if I look at sketch notes from like 2 years ago and I go, oh, I came up with this, that's quite cool. I totally forgot about that. That's a nice little awareness there. And the other thing is also to see how my style has changed and how I've just over the years, I'm just giving a lot less of a shit what my drawings look like. They're very low level of detail, but they're getting a lot clearer. All right, so as you can see in this particular one, also kind of two major accent colors here, the orange and the black, and then using the gray shadows. And you'll see, you know, we want to work with very little words, but sometimes especially when I muck up a concept, let's say I'm busy drawing a frog and it doesn't look like a frog to me, I'll just make a little arrow and say this is a frog. So as you can see, very little detail here, you know, but even that little person that says discovered by accident, stayed on purpose, little detail, but I know exactly it's a person with a speech bubble. All right, so your brain needs very little to make the connection. An object needs to look about 20% like the real object for you to make that connection. All right, so let's go on to people. And last week, Johan did this amazing setup where we had like a camera and I was drawing on paper, and we'll probably do that next week again. But this week I'm going to be drawing with my iPad, and I'll share a screen with you in a few minutes. But I think people was the most intimidating to me. And I've even got this, you know, these little art figures, these little wooden art figures. I even got one of these because I just got my dimensions completely wrong. And then, you know, I think with menopause and getting some estrogen patches, I just stopped giving a shit about people's dimensions and how the arms look. You know, if a stick figure's pointing there and his arm's like way too long, it just means like he really wants you to look. So I just let the criticism go, and I think that was my biggest breakthrough. So you've got a couple of options when you do people: box people, star people. Then you've got these bean people, slightly bloated. They might have had too much kombucha to drink this morning, like I did. And then you've got your upside down people, your triangle people, and you can draw triangle people either with the big hips or the big shoulders. All right, so it depends on the shape of the figure there. Alrighty, then I included this image because I thought it was just such a nice, concise kind of Sketchnote Bible. So we're going to be doing a practice round today, and then we're going to work a little bit on our own visions of where we are right now, and maybe some of the things that's aspirational and inspirational that we'd like to do in the next few weeks. But really, I find building up a visual library and using metaphors is really the power of sketchnoting. So, you know, if I say to you, light bulb, you know, what does a light bulb represent? Typically, innovation. Okay, so it's just a moment of insight. If I say to you a key or a lock,
Open.
Unlock, open.
Yeah, security, secureness, trust, safety. So we've got those metaphors, and I think as you know, as I'm sketching more and more and more, I'm getting more smart about the metaphors, and I've got that visual library that I just draw on, which means I can make notes a lot quicker. Also, if there's any consultants in this group of people, I'll let you into one of my secrets, okay? So, you know, clients like minutes. Once you've had a meeting with them, they like minutes, and they like having a record of what you said 3 months ago, and, you know, is this in scope? Is this out of scope? They just like, you know, having a bit of control, and I love putting control in their hands. I just fucking hate doing minutes. It is, for me, the most boring thing. And sometimes it takes me 2 weeks to get an hour meetings minutes out. And I hate sitting typing in a meeting because it just feels like I'm not physically there. So what I started doing now is I take my iPad, I plug it into their projector in the days when we still had like face-to-face meetings, plug it into the projector so they can see my screen, so they can see I'm not doing any funky stuff while we're talking. And as we are having the meeting, I actually draw on the screen and I draw the minutes. Don't draw it very pretty, but as soon as that meeting's over, I just go export to PDF and I send it to all of them, which makes my production time a lot less after meetings. And now that we're having Zoom meetings, it gives me something a little bit more interesting to look at than my own face on the camera, and it's instant. And before I used to go and type up the minutes after the notes. Now I don't do that anymore. That's your minutes. And if you wanted another way, you can make it another way yourself, but that's really the minutes. All right. Great. So I love this activity, and this was the one, Johan, we were looking for at the last time. So I'm going to ask you to take a piece of paper, and you're going to do this grid. And if you look at this, the nose and the eyes stay exactly the same. But at the top 3 blocks, you've got the eyebrows going up, going straight, and going down. And on your left-hand side 3 blocks, you've got your mouth going smile, straight mouth, and down mouth. And by completing this grid, and I'm going to actually ask you to do this, by completing this grid, you can very easily get used to, you know, what makes the different facial expressions. And, you know, we're living in the age of emojis, but still, you know, kind of we struggle when we draw people, we struggle to put that emotion into the face. So let me give you 2 minutes just to quickly finish this one. All righty, how did that go?
Good.
Simple when you break it down.
Yeah, Yeah, very simple. And even I think, you know, just going when you are doing sketch notes, just having the eyes and the eyebrows, just having the eyes and the mouth. So the less detail, the quicker you can move. And in order to illustrate emotion, you actually need so little. All right, so a nice little exercise. And what I'll make sure that I give you a link to this pack if you want to go and have a look at these images. All right, so this is what I love watching on Pinterest. It's called, if you go onto Pinterest and you do a search, you can just search for ways to draw, or you can go and find me, Chantal Bott, and just follow my boards about sketchnoting. But if you search for ways to draw on Pinterest, you're going to find these little panels where they take a concept like attention and they take a few ways to draw that. So this is attention. Usually when we drive down the road and we see this, we know there's some roadworks and we are a little bit more careful. This looks to me like the airport people trying to park an airplane, attention with my finger, and then the megaphone. So I just love, this really helps me with my visual vocabulary to take a concept like attention and turn it into 4 different ways to illustrate attention. Okay, I'm going to show you another one. Up. So the girl with the balloons, the rocket launching, the person with the smile going up and the stairs going up. Alrighty, and then impact. You know, I say to people often, the current circumstances, I kind of thought that would happen. I was convinced, like in my lifetime, you know, the poles were going to reverse, or there was going to be a big comet, and, you know, we'd have a few days and then, you know, we'd have to, you know, say goodbye. Never in my mind did it look like it looked now. I love this impact illustration here with the little ball. I've never had those on my desk, but I do want one of those one day. Impact with the fist. I've got my dominoes there at the bottom being pushed over. I've got a hammer. I've got an exclamation mark in one of those. What do you call those things? Little explosion-like looking things. And here I've just got a hole in the wall. All right, so these things, I absolutely love these things. I am a little bit of a drawing geek, but I do love them. All right, so I think what I'd like to do now, I'm just going to move onto my iPad. Any questions before we start with our exercise?
No.
No? All righty, so I also want to just chat to you a little bit about the tools that I use. So the screen that you see in front of you, I'm just checking everybody's seeing the screen that says vision board.
Yep. Okay.
So the product I'm using here is a whiteboard called Explain Everything. And Explain Everything is a fantastic training tool. They've got a brilliant blog where they've got all the webinars that they've recorded about how to use the system. So at the moment, I am using my iPad and my pencil, but I've got a web browser open that goes to a specific code that I've generated on my iPad. So you are seeing my iPad screen in the browser. Now, if I shared this link with you, you would be able to hop onto this browser page and you'd be able to collaborate with me. So it's a really cool tool. You know, which works like, so I'm going to draw on my iPad and you can see that on my browser screen. All right, so that's one really cool thing. While I'm on a Zoom call, I can, with my iPad and my pencil, I can quickly draw like I would have done with my Neuland pens and my flip chart. The other really cool thing about this is you can record sessions that you have on this whiteboard with a voiceover. There's a couple of sneaky ways that you can do this. So let's say I wanted to explain to you, how the drama triangle works as an interpersonal and relationship skill. I would first narrate it and then I would draw to my voice. And I could record this as a little module in Explain Everything and share that to YouTube. We've just soft launched our education platform. And one of the things we're doing on there is using these sketch notes to explain stuff to people. And the sketch notes we've got on there is done with Explain Everything. So I really recommend go and check it out. If you want to make your Facebook stream more interesting, if you want to make LinkedIn more interesting, or if you want to do instructional design, this is a really cool product. All right, so what I'm going to ask you to do with your pen and paper, I'm going to ask you to, maybe we'll start just with a short little visualization, okay? And then I'm going to ask you to draw this and really suspend the inner critic. So we're going to create a little mini vision board for the next 2 weeks. All right. So everybody close your eyes and take a nice deep breath. And we know that, you know, at the moment, I think everybody's in a very weird state. There's things we want to do that we can't do, but there's things that we want to do that we say to ourselves we can't do. So I want you to just imagine yourself feeling light. Imagine yourself feeling creative. Imagine yourself being adventurous. Imagine yourself literally taking some of the heaviness in terms of the things that are dragging you down and just letting it go. Imagine you are wearing a pair of heavy boots that's kind of holding you back from being creative. And you're just first take the right boot off you. Like those steel tip heavy boots, and you're going to take the right boot off and you're going to take the left boot off and you're going to feel your feet just feeling light and breathing. And you're going to feel how the energy comes up your legs, into your hips, into your belly, and it moves up into your arms, and it feels like you've got those amazing helium balloons tied, 10 tied to your right hand and 10 tied to your left hand, and you just feel like your arms really lifting, and the balloons are amazing colors. They're not just pink and white, they're like all the colors of the rainbow. And you're going to visualize, you know, the next 2 weeks. What are the things that give you joy? What are the things that absolutely inspire you? What are the things that, you know, even if you had a late night, that you would jump out of bed the next morning to go and do 6 o'clock in the morning? What are the things that, you know, you've always wanted to do but always had excuses? So let it come to you and just take a nice deep breath. And I'm going to ask you to open your eyes. And now you're going to take your piece of paper and your pen, and you are going to visualize what are those nice, inspirational, adventurous things that you'd like to try in the next 2 weeks. All right. And I'm going to give you, let's say, 4 minutes, 5 minutes to just draw stick people, just draw little objects, just draw little shapes of what are the things that you'd really like to try in the next 2 weeks that you can use as a little mini vision board. And I'm going to set the timer for us, and I'm going to play you some music while you draw. I'm going to find us some nice music, and then I'll call you back when it's done. All right, and start wrapping up. All right, so let's get a few people to share how this experience was for them, and if you feel comfortable to share maybe some of what came out as some of the practical things that you'd like to do that's going to lift you and just give you joy. You're welcome to kind of hold your paper up to the camera if you want to share that with people. All right, so who'd like to share?
I don't mind, I'll go. I've never done this before, so it's really so funny trying to draw. So I've only done a small amount, but I'm hoping to, well, my background is making it difficult, sorry. So I'm hoping to do some more gardening because I have always killed our house plants, and let me remove that background. I'll put no, there we go. So yeah, I'm really getting into gardening. So that's me in a happy place in the garden. That's supposed to be some carrots. And then so then I want to do some more ways to I've been learning and doing a lot more workshops, and then our family sharing it with family. So I want to do my own little workshops with family to pass on what I'm learning, where they're not as confident to go and do it. I've asked people to come and family to come and be part of things, but they haven't. And then I want to start journaling more. And then the very popular one, exercise. No pain, no gain. Got to do some more of that. But that was
fantastic. Thank you for sharing that. And I think you've just inspired me, because we're in such a hyper drive of learning new skills, but we're not necessarily sharing that with family. So I immediately thought about my mother-in-law. I could probably teach her a few more things on her phone that she didn't know it could do. Excellent. Thanks, Mary.
All right.
All right, who else wants to share?
I can go. I was trying to say while on mute.
Excellent, Sam.
Let me just switch a light on.
Oh, cool.
Is that better? So
yeah, that's cool. Fantastic.
I want to try do some yoga.
Oh, super cool.
My husband's put a hammock in our garden. I would like to go and read some books in my whole stack. Sorry, I can't actually see where I'm pointing.
No, perfect. We're seeing it.
Cool. There's a whole stack of books, and I want to go and put them next to the hammock and just go and like live in there. I would like to go and hug the people that I haven't hugged in a long time. This is me going with my family in the car from my house all the way to visit people and say hello. And then the last one here is I would love to go for a walk in the forest or a walk on the beach. I'm really, really missing those things. So yeah. That's
excellent.
That's me.
Amazing. Thanks for sharing, Samantha.
Sure.
All right. Who else?
I can do it. I don't know if I can explain. It's a lot of stuff to do the next week. I've done it already a little time before graphic recording and things like that. I have to read a lot of books, more than minimum 10 books. I'm going to plan a webinar in the next 2 weeks. Instagram is a theme, and I want to go into the garden, and I have to clean up my cellar. Since 15 years, perhaps I can start.
Good luck with that. That's going to require some Marie Kondo skills to get rid of 15 years.
Yes, I'm nearly before. I think I will start. I already visited my cellar. And then I'm looking at, to do something with coaching and going online, and how to connect at the moment with its theme, how I want to work with people in the next times, and which people I really want to have in my surroundings. This is a theme.
Amazing. I love the colors you've used, and I love that icon that you had right in the middle of your page with the heart, with the arrows going out. I mean, that was like, I looked at your page and I was immediately drawn to that image of, you know, so full of heart and pouring heart into all of the pieces on there. Beautiful. Thank you.
Thanks.
All righty. Who else? Johan.
Give it a quick go. So,
Oh, wow.
got a couple of things. I've got a pizza oven which I haven't fired up for like 2 years. So I think this is the ideal time to fire it up and just keep it going. That's definitely. I'm scared what might jump out of it if I open up the door. But yeah. Then there's some sausages. I think I've been saying that I want to make some sausages again. So I must try and see if I can sneak out to the butchery maybe. They're still open. I love gardening, so I've got a garden going, but I've recently started getting very interested in composting. So I want to maybe this weekend to just spend some time and get a composting system going. And then I'm trying to really figure out how to plug in good quality cameras on MacBooks and get that to stream live to other places. So I think I will pursue that whole streaming exercise. Yeah, so that's me.
That's super.
All right, stunning. Thanks, Johan. All right, who else?
Steve wanted to go, Chantal.
Somehow, Steve, my gallery view, my whole view is like screwed up here. All right, fantastic. Share with us.
Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Right, now comes the fun part, doing this in reverse. So you have, actually, I'll go to the bottom one, Steve. Continuing on the video game I've been playing for the last couple of weeks, actually getting some quality time with the Xbox that's been living with me for 2 weeks now. The stretching exercise regime that has actually been occurring. Everyone who's promising to do yoga, yes. The one I've been joking about, the consequences have come home to roost. The kilos of Lego I've been meaning to sort for the last 2 years. It's really pleasing to sort them. It's really terrifying to realize just how many pieces you have. And the unlikely one, but it's the stretch goal, is to actually see the sleep pattern emerge. Don't know what time zone yet.
Excellent. So, Stephen, I've got a funny story for you. Like once a year, because we have so much Lego and we work with so many different groups of people, once a year we put our Lego in mesh bags and we put it in the top loader washing machine with some disinfectant, and then we sort it. And I think that's probably also a time to do that. So thanks for that piece of inspiration. All right, let me go back to gallery view. Anyone else want to give feedback?
I think the other Steve had his hand up as well.
Yeah.
Yeah, hey.
All right, there you are. There you are. Thank you. Sure. I don't know. I need to relearn my Zoom skills. They're all funny.
I'll try and hold it up, see if I can walk through it. So there's 3 things for the next 2 weeks. I'm just coming back from an injury on my knee, so easing into my running. So I want to step it up about 3 times a week. And that's me kind of huffing and puffing through.
Well done.
And then there's a product management course that I've just started on Udemy, and it's one of the things I want to also step up and skill up on. So I want to finish it, and that's me putting my squiggly look or puzzled look with getting ideas, switching on my ideas. And then lastly, and I don't even know if this is mirrored, but I hope it's you can understand the imagery, right? And lastly, that's me with my Humpty Dumpty head trying to read a book that's been sitting in my shelf for the last 6 months. It's Atomic Habits. And I think one of the habits I'm trying to sort out is procrastination, as you can imagine. So it's now the dust's off, and I want to get it done. So that's the next couple of weeks. So yeah.
Brilliant.
All right, fantastic. I love that. And I love how you did that. I love how you did that face. That's amazing. I mean, all of your drawings, I look at it and I go, oh, that's so nice. Oh, that's so nice. We're so critical about our own work.
Mm.
All right. Anyone else want to share? I should now have you all up on my screen. Oh, come on, Catherine. I'm dying to see what you did. You're shy. I don't want to pick on you.
Oh, come on. You've picked them anyway.
Ah.
I'm just in awe of how well everyone's done on I don't know, 20 minutes instruction. It's like, it's amazing what's there, right? So
wow.
I'm making some big changes. It's one step. I'm going to do one step in the next 2 weeks towards my new chapter. I'm going to send little cards of gratitude to people who are, who I appreciate. Do some more journaling in nature, and then I'm very obsessed with creating talking circles so that's kind of a talking circle, and people sitting around a fire metaphorically. So that's
awesome.
That's amazing. And if you make a talking circle, you know I'll be there.
You're on the invite list already. I just haven't told you.
Yes, amazing. Yeah. So stalk Catherine online if you if you wanna watch what she does with the talking circles. All right, fantastic. I'm gonna share with you quickly what I did, if there's no one else, and then I will bring us in for a landing. And I want to give you a coupon to our training site if you want to see what we've done in the last few weeks. And then I will also post a link to that presentation for you. All right, so you can see here, I've just gone back to that screen. And I think mine was very much around, I really want to cook like a 3-course meal. I've done a bit of cooking, but I haven't. Johan's normally the guy who's usurping and dominating the kitchen. Then this weekend, we've changed we're busy changing our lounge into more of an innovation space for the kids. So I'm setting up my sewing stuff, which I probably haven't used in about 20 years. I haven't used my sewing machine. So my daughter is very passionate about sewing, and she takes it as an extramural at school. Then I think, like Steve, I've got a bookshelf full of books that are desperately yelling at me to read them. And I think I'm so grateful with having Audible when I travel, but it's probably time that I get back to the more tactical stuff and let the electronics go. And then my kids came up with a really interesting idea last night. They want to do game design. So I'm actually quite interested to see, and I mean, they just make up games. You taste the hottest hot sauce, and these all kinds of challenges. So I'm quite interested to explore more game design with them. All right, so just going back to the tools, I'm going to paste you a link to this presentation. Again, we're exploring a lot of interesting tools, and this is an absolutely phenomenal tool called Beautiful.ai. It is much faster than PowerPoint, and there's no effort in aligning stuff. It is just incredibly beautiful. I'll show you one of the slides. It's just incredibly beautiful. and you can copy and paste images into it. So I'm going to just do the Zoom share. So I will share a link to this in the, where's my chat? But I'll show you just the slides in this thing. It's absolutely amazing. I would say my building time for presentations is probably a 10 of what it was in PowerPoint. And the cool thing about this tool is it exports to PowerPoint. So even if you don't use, if you need it in PowerPoint, because a lot of our clients need the slides in PowerPoint, you can export it from here. So let me just give you an idea. So this is a slide where, I could add more items onto the slide. And you can see as I'm adding the items, it's just adapting the size. Then it's got this amazing, amazing editor. So let's say I'm looking for a balloon. I can just add icons onto that. I can also add images, and it does an amazing job of actually, it uses Unsplash as an image library. So but very quickly, I'll just show you this beautiful, let's say I needed a whole lot of photos on a grid. It uses Unsplash, and I can literally just go and plug some images into this.
Can you share this link in the chat, or is it already there?
Absolutely. So I've pasted the link to the presentation, but I'm going to paste the link to the product if you're interested in checking it out. It is. Oops, I'm sorry. There we go. I just put the link to your hand. Cool. So that's beautiful AI. I've put a link to the actual presentation that I've now shared with you. Then I will share with you the other product that I used was Explain Everything. Magnificent tool. Sorry, that should be www.explaineverything. Alrighty. So that really kind of concludes our session for today. Thank you so much in joining us. Thank you for contributing. Thank you for keeping yourselves both creatively occupied. Oh, and Catherine's asking for some book suggestions. So I would really recommend one of the best books is this one by.
I've got to jump on another call. Can you send us the link?
I will send you an email.
Thanks so much.
Wilhelmine Brandt, Visual Thinking, and then go and look for Eva's books. But I will send you some more links on email. You can also check, just follow us on LinkedIn and you'll see what we get up to. All right, I've got time for questions. If there's anyone that wants to kind of pick my brain. Otherwise, I will see you next week.
It was great. Thanks.
That's awesome.
All righty. Thanks for joining.
Thanks, Chantal. Thanks so much.
Okay.
Thank you.
See you.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Thanks for joining us, Steve and Stephen.
See you guys. Bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye.